Moving on now to Belle Isle tonight, there has been an uproar over enforcement on the island since the state took over operations this winter. Detroit City Council President Brenda Jones railed on Michigan State Police this week for what she calls excessive traffic stops, which included the city clerk and Mayor Mike Duggan for speeding. She also said officers needed sensitivity training. MSP has defended their patrols. You know, not all state parks are alike. Should they be patrolled differently? Is that the question here, Nancy? And I'm going to start with you because I know you wrote a column this week in the Detroit Free Press about it.
So we've got kind of a culture shock here because for a long time, this is a problem all over the city. We have under-resourced police officers who don't have enough cops. They don't have enough stuff to do their jobs the way they want to do them. And so we have a city where people have kind of gotten accustomed to doing whatever they want, and now you have state police who are not accustomed to people just doing whatever they want, and they're pulling people over. They're arresting folks who have warrants. They're arresting people with open intoxicants in the car, people who have weed in the car. It's a change of expectation, and I think it's going to take some time for folks to get used to. But when you look at the number of traffic stops versus the number of actual tickets issued, it seems like there's a lot of warnings being given, which is good, kind of easing into it. Mm-hmm. But there's a bigger issue, which is that there's a lot of fear and mistrust about this state management of Belle Isle. A lot of people in Detroit felt like maybe they wouldn't be welcome on the island anymore, or maybe it wouldn't be a real Detroit park anymore. And so there is an issue with, I've talked to people who are not doing anything wrong, who said that they weren't pulled over, who said that they were out driving around the island, were followed by cops for a while. It can make you feel unwelcome, even if you're not doing anything wrong. So there's a line to walk there.
And it's a park, not a prison, and you have to keep in mind that people are there to have a little bit of fun and relax. But that island has been a pretty raucous place, and it hasn't had a great deal of rule enforcement over the years. And I think what the state police are trying to do now is establish the idea that things have changed, and that if you're going to come to the island, there are a set of expectations and rules you're going to have to follow. I think a lot of people are being stopped now, given warnings because they don't have the park pass on their license. That's a new thing most people don't know about. I think there's going to be a shakeout period here, but the reality is things have changed. That island is now a state park, and state parks are run differently.
It was funny that Mayor Mike Duggan said he just kind of watched and wait. He wasn't bothered by the fact that he was pulled over for speeding, and yes, he was speeding. And he said it was funny that the officer didn't know who he was. They pulled him over, and he said, you have a city-owned vehicle. What do you do for the city? And he said, oh, I'm the mayor. But was the council president wrong in calling out the enforcement here on Belle Isle? Do you think there was an overreaction, or do you think it was justified in terms of this is part of the growing pains of what's happening?
So yes and no. It is. It sounds crazy to have an elected official suggesting that law enforcement shouldn't be doing their jobs and they're somehow wrong to be enforcing laws. But I think that she is sort of responding to this broader concern that people won't be welcome on Belle Isle. However, inelegantly she phrased it, that there is this fear in the community that folks won't be welcome on the island, that it won't be the place where you can go to kick back and have fun. But yeah, in general, I'm going to go with elected officials should probably not be criticizing law enforcement for enforcing.
Last word, Nolan.
She was a little knee-jerk. I think she should have taken a little more time to see what the real story was out there. You've got a lot of the folks who are in charge of running the island saying, it's not happening. The police are doing the job. I think there's a balance, and we got to find it.